Welcome back to Hot Takes and Deep Dives. This is Jess, and I would like to welcome our returning friend. His name is B, but you probably know him as PetShopBoy. What's up, B?
I'm good. What's up? How's it going?
Pretty good. How are you? You're in
Yeah,
you're in your new apartment in Greenpoint.
I am. Yeah, it's like not so new anymore. It's like since mid-September. But
Have you
yeah,
have
it
you
still
made
feels
it
new.
have you made it home? Like, are you comfortable there?
Yeah, definitely. I've had time. So
Yeah. And so what's the difference between this apartment and where you were you in Williamsburg before?
I was in Williamsburg. It's just a lot quieter over here. I'm really not that far. I'm in Greenpoint, so it's like, but I just like love it. I'm right off of Graham. Are you familiar with Graham Ave?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like there's tons of restaurants and like wine shops and it's just like really quaint and cute and quiet. And for the pandemic, it's like perfect. It's like I step outside. I have a backyard for the dog.
Amazing.
And I live a block away from McCarran Park. I'm like telling everyone where I live, but I live right by the main park. So it's like, and it's nice.
Would you mind sharing your social security number?
Oh yeah, I thought you meant social media. I was like Pet Shop Boy.
So there's a lot that we want to talk to you guys about. So kind
Yeah.
of on the hit list for today. Number one, the Wendy Williams 4-hour extravaganza. We have both
Yeah.
watched all 4 hours.
Yeah.
And did you like it?
Okay, so I like the documentary more than I like the movie. The
Same.
documentary was like very salacious and gave you all the real details, and the movie was good, but the documentary was better. And the movie was just like, it's a Lifetime movie. It's not like groundbreaking, life-changing.
Over dramatized.
But it was just like funny which memeable moments they chose to capture, how they chose to capture, and the acting was,
I wanted so I wanted to get into this. What did you think of? I feel so bad. I forget the actress's name who played Wendy. What
I
did
do
you
too.
What did you think of her performance?
Honestly, given the material, because you kind of have to play her crazy. You can't in the best. I mean that in the best sense. I'm like a Wendy enthusiast, even though she says she's problematic and she says crazy things. You have to respect that she's a Black woman that's like made it this far in a male-dominated industry.
An incredible broadcaster.
She made it into something completely different. Took it and ran with it. Nobody was doing gossip in the way that she was doing in the Black community and giving and it was when hip hop was on its crescendo, right? Crescendo is the right word, right?
Crescendo is like the rise.
Yes, exactly.
Yes.
Okay. But you cannot deny what she's done. And we joke about her all the time, but it's so funny because she's like such a character. I don't even know where I was going with this. I just love talking about Wendy.
The review of
the
actress who portrayed
So,
Wendy.
That being said, I feel like to play Wendy, you kind of have to have an insane accent. It's kind of really difficult. Like, I think she did okay.
I think I would give her performance like 3.5 stars out of 5.
Oh, really?
Out of 5.
Oh, out of 5. I thought you were going to say 10.
No. Out of 5, 3.5.
Yeah.
So
I give her 7.
7 out of 10.
If we were doing 7 out of 10.
Yeah. Yeah, same.
Yeah.
I think the main issue is she did not look like Wendy. And I don't know if it's possible for somebody to, they're clearly like using prosthetics, like they're doing stuff with the face. It's a lot of makeup. It's a lot of prosthetics.
Yeah.
I wish they tried a little bit harder for her to look like her.
The budget, I think maybe.
The budget.
There were a couple scenes, especially in the trailer, but it was in the movie too when she kept walking. They kept showing her walking in slow motion down that hallway in the radio station, and she has the brown wig with the side part, the iconic, and the purple wrap dress and her tits, and she's like looking up, and she had just gotten her body done, and I was like, that is the most Wendy thing I have ever seen in my fucking life. It just gives me like chills. I love it. The whole.
I felt like at some points she did get the voice right, but it felt like she was going in and out of character, which I
there were a couple
understand.
moments.
Like they're filming it over. It's such a specific blend of Jersey and New York that and also Wendy just has this iconic, like her mannerisms. I felt like she got the mannerisms down.
Yeah.
In her face and the tics and the oddities. I did feel like she nailed that.
And who knows how long she had to prepare for this, but if it maybe had been a movie, it would have been a bit like a motion picture, like in a movie theater movie. Maybe it would have had a little more like budget or something, and maybe a little more time to prepare. I don't know. I don't know the full backstory, but I'm pleased. It's a Lifetime movie, so I knew what we were getting.
Was there anything? Was there anything that you felt like? Well, what about like anything that you felt was missing? Like, or like questions that you still had?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of the early days, I think that's more interesting to me than the talk show days. And I feel like we got to the radio stuff in the talk show era, like 2005, 2010, all of that. I feel like, was it just me or that took up a good chunk, right?
To me, absolutely. Oh yeah, they sped over her entire childhood. That was done in like 2 sentences.
And did you know she was married before Kevin?
There was one line about that. She said it was, she's like, not worth talking about. She's like, it was a starter marriage. She glossed over that. Yeah.
But there's stories about her fucking Notorious B.I.G. before.
I thought Method Man.
That too. Yeah. I know. I sound like Wendy Ryder. That's how you doing?
Okay, wait, speaking of that, speaking of the how you doing, I wish that they had highlighted the origin of that. Do you know the origin of that?
It's the gay guys, right?
Yes.
On this radio, yeah.
On the radio, if there was a guy that she thought was a little
suspect,
she'd be like, how you doing? But they didn't talk. I felt like, okay, this is her most iconic line.
Yeah. There's a lot of stuff where I feel like because she is literally like, I mean, honestly, she's about to surpass Tiffany Pollard as the most memeable, right? What did you say? Tiffany Pollard is like pretty up there. She's the queen of reality TV.
Yeah.
But Wendy is still on the air, and everything that comes out of her mouth, like you saw the other day, I did on my story, and I asked all my followers, and I said, what is your favorite Wendy moment?
Oh, and what were tell me what came in.
My favorite, after reviewing all of that, I realized I think my favorite is, and that's what she said. And who was that?
That's my favorite.
Do you know that one?
Of course.
What was that? Norman?
That is for sure.
She passed away? Aw. Anyways.
Who is she referring to that died?
I don't even fucking know. Oh my God.
Dula Peep. Who can forget when calling it Cornova?
We are frightened of Cornova.
We are frightened of Cornova.
We are
like those are my
trenches.
questions. Like why? Yeah. Or is it just like Ramona Singer, like can't fucking get a sentence out like without messing up the English language?
There's a few like they got the major stuff like the Statue of Liberty and stuff like that. That was iconic.
But that too, they did that in 2 seconds. I needed 20 minutes. I'm like, why did she faint? They never answered it.
There's a lot of stuff that and maybe there should be a book accompanying all this stuff too, I feel, She
could cash. I would think she would get a lot more money for a book than a Lifetime movie.
But it was that's true. Yeah, definitely.
But that's probably coming too.
That's better.
It'll be released on Andy Cohen's imprint 2022, I'm sure. I'm sure that's coming.
But it was a missed opportunity to like not take advantage of all those memeable moments, because that's why we're watching. Like everyone has a space in their heart for like their favorite weird Wendy moment, because she's just like so weird. And they missed a lot of those moments where you could have just like injected that in, having this woman replay those moments, and it would have just been like.
Can we talk about Kevin Hunter, the husband?
Yeah.
Thoughts and feelings? This man.
I mean, I don't like him in general. Andy Cohen really doesn't like him either. I think that Andy Cohen, it caused a rift in his and Wendy's relationship. Yep. I believe that's what I read.
Same thing with Charlemagne. Charlemagne says he's like the thing that came between Wendy and I. Charlemagne, was of course Wendy's sidekick for many years on the radio, and when he was a guest on Watch What Happens Live, maybe like 2 years ago, pre-divorce, Andy asked, and he said, that husband, and Andy responded. Everybody look this up on YouTube. Yep. It's like a 2-minute thing, and Andy goes,
and Andy was like, "Yep."
He's like, I think that's exactly what happened to me.
Yeah, that's why he was so feared.
Well, yeah, it seemed like it was, while he had like an executive producer credit on the show, it seemed like his job was to keep people away. But why would he want to keep somebody like Andy Cohen away? Andy Cohen is only going to help Wendy's career.
Well, that's what like abusers do, right? They it wasn't physical abuse, she said, but I mean, obviously
Emotional. Yeah.
emotional and mental abuse. And when you know that you don't really bring as much to the relationship and you're afraid of this cash cow leaving, you're going to keep your cards, literally your cards close to your chest. So you don't want people to come in and out of her life and be like, hey, the way he treats you, da, da, da. That's abuser 101.
Yeah, you're completely
Yeah.
right. And also I think he is absolute narcissist.
I think the one thing that's interesting about Wendy is I wouldn't classify her as a narcissist. I know you said it's him,
Mm.
but I wouldn't think I would classify her as a narcissist because I don't think she really enjoys talking about herself that much, right?
No.
She loves talking about other people's stuff. And I think that's what's interesting about her is she commands so much attention and she is such a character, but she's like, I would not think that she's a person that likes looking at her own reflection or, that's it. That's why I think someone like her would be an interesting housewife because so many are just like so obsessed with hearing themselves speak and what's going on in their
She'd be
life. And I
more
feel like
about getting
she's
in the mix and like it's
yes.
my favorite housewives historically, like if you look at like Bethany or even okay, my unpopular opinion, people know I love Carol. I love the
Mhm.
housewives who are observers.
Yes, yeah. And I would say both of Bethany and Carol. Bethany gets more in there, but Bethany essentially is someone who's like studying
Margaret Josephs
everybody's.
too.
Yes, yes. She's really good at it.
The final thing about Kevin Hunter, this is Wendy's ex-husband. I had read a quote from somebody online, somebody who like worked very closely with them. I wonder if it was
Hmm.
even Charlemagne. I have to double check who the quote was
Yeah,
attributed to. They were saying he has a way of making you think your life could not exist without him. And that's
yeah,
clearly what he did to Wendy.
yeah, yeah. He found a way to get in her head and make her think, make himself be valuable to her. He's a low life.
Total and complete.
Yeah.
What do you think about okay, next on the list to
Mhm.
discuss, Real Housewives of New York has not yet resumed filming post
Because
this
yeah.
COVID
Who do you
break.
think?
It's Sonia.
You think it's Sonia? Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
no, she's public about it. She's
Oh,
saying
she
I'm
said.
recovering. Yeah, on Instagram, she has
Oh, I
alluded
could
to
see.
it. If you go back, like just like 2 weeks ago in her
Hmm.
Instagram, on like her like main feed, she's
Yeah.
talking about quarantining, about like still recovering, being weak. She's
Oh, wow.
kind of
Okay.
talking about it. Not in you can't find it. There's no page six article about it, but she's
Yeah. Okay.
being
Yeah.
public about it.
Yeah.
Ramona
Ramona.
Singer.
Yeah. She's been everywhere.
All right. So apparently she has during this break, but since they've had to shut down, basically they're due to film like one more cast trip wherever it's going to be. Do you know
This whole
where?
season is going to be such a mess. Do you know where it is? I don't know where it
No, I'm
is.
asking you.
Oh, I should ask Leah. I don't know.
Fuck, get
I
her on the line.
seriously. I don't know. It'll be somewhere local, you know.
Yeah.
I think this season is gonna, I'm not looking forward to it. I mean, I love Leah. I'll watch for Leah because I think that she's the spark on that show. But I'm just like, I don't know. I feel like it's gonna be so disjointed. I don't want to see them film in COVID. And then I just feel like they keep stopping and starting and stopping. And it's like, oh,
Have you heard anything about anything? Like
I haven't.
have you been in touch with Leah at all?
I talked to her like briefly, but we don't really talk about the show.
Yeah.
It's just like to catch up. Honestly, I haven't really been that like interested in like what's going on with the filming because I just feel like I want to be surprised because like last time I knew too much and then it just like
It ruins it.
I thought it ruined it. And then especially for like what New York offers these days, it's like Jersey, I wanted to know everything because even you know what I mean? It'd only add, but like New York is like, I don't want to hear anything because I feel like that's all they're gonna have. Does it
Well,
make sense?
oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Ramona, since they had to shut down production because Sonia
Yeah.
was sick. We have a quote here. She's telling, so basically she jetted off to St. Bart's. There's a quote. She's telling people on the island, this is when she was in St. Bart's, I guess 2 weeks ago. She's
Uh-huh.
telling people on the island that she's keeping it a secret due to her contract with Bravo. Yet she's taking pictures with people on the island.
I heard that she could travel. They just asked that all the castmates follow CDC guidelines, and because you can't really, I don't think you could really tell people that they can't travel.
I
Like you
heard
can't
that they
tell.
were begging them to stay in New York.
I mean, yeah, that would make sense. It's like if you, this is why I don't like Ramona. It's like beyond what she does on the show, she could not give a shit about us as fans and giving us the best possible show. She doesn't care if filming resumes in 4 weeks because she's going to have to come home and quarantine. And if she gives it to somebody, it's like she does not give a shit about giving us a good show. She wants to get her check. She wants to be an asshole. I can't stand her. need her off the show. And it's not even like about having a good villain anymore. She's not even a good villain because she's not even a willing participant. When Leah confronted her about what was it, Leah? Elise confronted her at Leah's party, and she just walked away and disengaged. She didn't even say disengaged. Meredith is more confrontational than Ramona. Ramona just like shut down, walked out of the room. If you're going to be a shitty person and a villain, stand tall in that and like give us a good show. You're just like mean and not even present and boring, and you always want to leave.
Cut to her partying at Mar-a-lago. She went from St. Bart's to Mar-a-lago of all places.
No, it's just like all Trumpers are just like so obsessed with getting COVID and spreading it. Like, why are y'all so obsessed with this? Like, y'all are like obsessed with like not wearing masks. Like, you're obsessed with not following.
The quote, obsessed. She's like, Trumpers are obsessed with getting COVID. That's pretty funny.
That sounds terrible. I sound that if it's taken out of context, that's so bad. But no, like, no, seriously, they're just like so obsessed with like doing everything they can to be shitty. Like going out of your way.
What's interesting to me is the person who was sick, Sonja, is legitimately her very good friend for many years. And in fact, on one of the posts that Sonja had shared, she was basically saying that Ramona was really there for her when she was sick, and like Ramona lifted her up. I get maybe she was feeling really down and depressed or whatever, as you would if you're in such a shitty situation, even normally, not even having COVID. We're all kind of depressed. That is strange to me, that then Ramona would be like, all right, bye, and then like hop off to St. Bart's and Mar-a-Lago. That is strange behavior.
Yeah.
Given this is her good friend.
Ramona gonna Ramona.
Did you hear about, how familiar are you with SoulCycle?
My friend wrote a lot about that. Alex, is that what you're talking about? They like, cause right, the instructor got the vaccine.
Yes.
But a friend of mine writes often about them. I forget which publication or which on like all their like weird stuff. It's a culture I don't really, because I don't do cardio like that.
Right. So I often joke on this podcast that all roads will lead to the following like 3 or 4 things: Fire Island, Madonna, Finding Prince Charming, that logo gay bachelor show, or SoulCycle.
Okay.
All roads, and here we are. And here we are with SoulCycle. So somebody who I've spoken about a lot, she just comes up in so many interviews. It's crazy. Is this one instructor, Stacey Griffith?
With the white hair, right?
Yeah. She is a notorious, she's one of the founding instructors, not a founder of SoulCycle, but she was on the founding instructor team. And she is notorious because a decade ago, she basically seduced and married a straight rider of hers. Maybe they didn't get married, but she basically, like, there was this Upper East Side housewife who got obsessed with her, taking her class, sells her on the Stacey Griffith lifestyle, and then leaves the husband, gets divorced, like takes her kid, and they're together for a decade. They said they broke up a few years ago, and cut to, so this woman, if you just Google Stacey Griffith, like a lot's going to come up, but beyond that, just this week, she posted a photo on her Instagram, basically like, I'm so excited that I got the vaccine, yada, yada, basically announcing that she got the vaccine. And the comments saying that she's an educator. I think in the comments, they were questioning, like, how were you able to get the vaccine? Like, she's like 40 something years old. Maybe she's 50.
Yeah.
And in perfect health.
Yeah.
And so her comments were flooded. And in there, she said, I'm an educator, to which the internet exploded. She actually gave an interview to the Daily Beast.
New York Times, I think. Yeah.
She eventually took the post down, and then this week posted an apology.
Okay.
Saying like I'm now aware of my behavior, whatever the fuck.
Well, you got the vaccine, so.
What are your thoughts on this? Like, do you think, is it maybe that she just shouldn't have spoken about getting the vaccine? She says that she was trying to raise awareness that it's safe and whatever, but she really got kicked in the head for it.
It's all in like how you do it, right? But I feel like me personally, I know tons of people that are they work as actual teachers in public schools. I know healthcare professionals that can't get the vaccine yet. I know tons of people's parents who are waiting for the first shot. It's completely unfair. for people to skip the line in that way. Now, there are ways to get it. I know if you like volunteer, there's different ways to kind of, and I think honestly, that's like a noble way to do it because it's like, you're still helping out an already crowded system. You're just trying to do your part and still.
Yeah.
But it's like, if you're just going to post about it and be boisterous and you didn't actually give back anything and you're just taking, and I have a problem with that. So I agree with the fallout. I don't, should have kept it to herself if she has such a high profile. She's just, it shows the complete lack of like self-awareness and just like, money really rots people's brains. And so does like social media fame. It really just like makes them so completely out of touch with what normal human beings are dealing with.
She's a rich, white, privileged woman on the Upper East Side.
Yeah.
How the fuck and you're not a teacher. You don't work in a hospital. You ain't an educator. The funniest thing I saw.
To me, it's like the biggest problem is not even the fact that she got the vaccine. It's the fact that she didn't think that there was anything wrong with posting about that when there's so many people in need. That's the larger problem that we're not addressing here. Because like COVID, when we get past all of this, these people will still have these kind of mindsets and it'll be the next thing.
All right, switching gears. Let's go heavy into Bravo. Something I've done before on the podcast is kind of like admitting like our unpopular opinions. I did this with Faces by Bravo. I could like literally run down like franchise by franchise, or we can just throw out some Housewives. Like
do franchise by franchise.
Franchise by franchise. Okay.
Yeah.
Let's start with Atlanta. Unpopular opinions.
Nene had more bad seasons than she did good. I think she was amazing seasons 1 through 3, like those early years when she was like kind of not in on the joke. Like she was amazing and we loved her because she was so rough around the edges. You know what I mean? But you like still rooted for her because you were like, oh, they treat her so bad. I'm Team Nene. And then when she started getting really Hollywood and she got that house in Hollywood.
Yeah, when she was like on Glee in The New Normal.
It was like 4, 5, 6. And then she came back. It just wasn't the same Nene. And I just feel like I feel like she had more bad seasons than she did good.
I like it.
But the seasons that she was good were really fucking good. Because when Nene's good,
she's great.
She's good. Yeah.
All right.
Also, she's better with Kim.
You need the duo.
They need each other. I don't want to see either of them without each other.
All right. Salt Lake City.
There's that meme of the picture of the horse when it's like the back of the horse is drawn immaculately. It's the head of the horse is, it's one of those two where it's like drawn immaculately and all shaded in and perfect. And by the time you get to the other end of the horse, like the head, it's drawn like a stick figure. I feel a little bit.
Let me translate this. You're saying that the premiere was amazing and it gradually declined.
Yeah, and but this is like, but still one of the best premiere seasons of a Housewives show ever.
I think this is rather overrated. Salt Lake City in general. Like
we were just excited. We were excited.
We didn't have anything.
I see a lot of fervor about it online still. I'm like, y'all, we can't still be talking about the same show, right? Because we need more Mary. And Mary may be a sketchy person. Like, I just like, I mean, I love her. But people complain a lot about her church and how she gets her money. I'm like, I know, but she's not gonna be perfect, y'all. Like, it's no one saying she makes it worth watching because she is so weird. And that's what we love.
All right. So, New Jersey.
Jennifer is a top tier housewife.
Agree.
Jennifer Aiden is underrated. She's just a top tier housewife. And I've never seen someone like grow so much from one season to the next. She gives you story. She has all the family stuff going on. She films with everybody, even when they fucking hate her. She's a strong player. Like, she doesn't break down.
So you actually went to her house. You interviewed her. You interviewed her for.
It was like this time last year
for your podcast. Tell me everything. What was that like?
Her house was huge. She gives the full tour. Yeah, she showed us everything. It was all 16 bathrooms. Tracy used 2 of them.
How many did you use?
I used one. I used the one downstairs by the kitchen. It was like actually really nice. Like, she's really, really nice in real life. And her mother actually dropped by. And we got to meet her. And just from what happened on the show with all the homophobic stuff, the storyline and the way that they kind of paint it. Yeah. That was filmed almost a year prior to when I met her. And she was talking about how she saw herself on the show and was like, really changed the way that she thought. Like her and her son are a lot better now. And they kind of like, learned a lot from that experience. And, people can be old fashioned and like can see themselves back on reality TV and change. That's something that I say a lot about, like Joe Gorga is like one of the few reality show people that I think has maybe gotten better because of reality TV.
Mm-hmm.
He's like gives his wife a little more, not that sounds so terrible, gives his wife more freedom. That's not what I mean. He had such a stringent like idea of like what marriage was in a very like old school Italian, way of thinking
He's
about
still a little
things.
caveman like.
Yeah, totally. You're not totally going to change him, but I think that he is like leaps and bounds different than when he first came on, and because of being on the show.
Is Teresa still your number one housewife?
I love Bethany because I think Bethany is just like, the more she's away, the more I miss her and what she offered to New York.
Sell me on Teresa because I know you love her.
Well,
why is she great?
Well, I love Teresa, and it's not because I think she's like a good person, but I do think that she's, of all the OGs, she's given us the most for the longest and stayed like interesting to most of the audience. I mean, literally everything is opened up about her. Like she's went to prison and she came home and filmed literally the day she got home from prison, she was filming. Most people would be like, I'm never going on reality TV again. I guess she needed to, right? Probably to pay bills. Teresa has given us like consistently like more than any housewife. Like she has opened her life up to filming in a way that I think a lot of people would have shut the doors on. Like Vicky was always open to stuff, but didn't really have story. I mean, it was boring. I feel like Teresa's is like larger than life. She can have issues with people, but she doesn't refuse to film with them. She'll still show up to filming and she doesn't pull that crap. And that's what I hate. Like that's what Jen Shaw's doing right out the gate. And that's why we didn't get that much Mary this season, I feel. And I hate that stuff. Like if you don't like them, you need to film with them. I don't care. You need to make a good show.
The number one, when I talk to people and if Teresa comes up or Jersey comes up, the number one thing I hear is I just can't watch a show where the star of the show is a total moron. How do you respond to that?
But I wouldn't say that she's the star though anymore. I think that Margaret is becoming like people really love Margaret. I mean, I guess you have the tree huggers that are like obsessed with Teresa, but for me, it's like I love everybody on it now, and I don't really consider. I think like when Margaret first came on, you would still be like, yeah. But now it's really shifted to where like Margaret has a huge fan base. And without Margaret, that show it would sink.
All right. Potomac. Unpopular opinion.
That one's hard because I feel like, unpopular opinion is I think that Monique should have come back this season.
Oh.
Yeah, I know.
You thought her behavior was okay on the reunion?
Yeah, I thought like her with the binder. Yeah, that's totally fine. It was dramatic.
Not apologizing.
The not apologizing. She kind of did though, right? Didn't she?
Not really.
Okay, so let's unpack this though. And I'm not saying that it's good to fight. I'm saying that like give Black women the same grace that you give white women who do the same thing and still collect paychecks. And if we're going to get into like splitting hairs in that way, Teresa Giudice has been on the show forever and she's gotten into multiple physical altercations with people and never fucking apologized. And people don't even talk about it. But who else is someone that's fought on the show and still collects a paycheck? Portia.
Has Danielle ever hit anybody?
Threw all the glasses and the drinks?
No, she pulled
Margaret's hair.
She pulled Margaret's hair.
Yeah.
Which really could have hurt her.
I would say Portia. Portia never apologized, I don't think, to Kenya.
So that's the reason why you feel Monique.
Listen, Monique's character is that she's not going to apologize. In real life, she's not going to fucking apologize. So we can either sit here and talk about it for 4 hours on this reunion, or we can all move past it and try to have a good season. She's not going to apologize in the way that you want her to apologize, Candace. And also, Candace is not completely hands clean in this. You know what I mean?
Roni, unpopular opinion.
Popular opinion. Dorinda should have stayed.
Yes.
And I would have, if we had to take out someone, my unpopular opinion, you'll probably hate this. Is this my unpopular opinion? I feel like I want to make this one good.
Well, you said already you want Ramona to go.
Well, actually, I would say before Ramona, or I would love to see Ramona go, but Luann, I don't think brings that much. I'm sorry. I know she's iconic and I know she's brought in so much to the show. I would love to see Luann maybe take everything. Yeah, that's true. She has.
Everything.
But you can't deny that the past couple of years she's kind of been phoning it in ever since the arrest.
What do you want her to do? Get married and divorced again?
No, I want her to just like have a story. Like, I mean, she was dating her manager the entire
Yes.
time they were
Yeah, I
filming,
don't
and
like.
none of that was covered. She's
Yeah.
not gonna, if she's not gonna open up her real life and we're just gonna talk about cabaret, it dates the show for me. Honestly, like I don't want to hear the word cabaret, and it's not even like in the show sense. I think it dates the show. It's just like a bunch of like white women sitting in the Upper East Side talking about a fucking cabaret show. Like young people don't like, I'm not going to a fucking cabaret show. Nobody in my circle is going to cabaret shows. Like we don't give a shit about that. Like put some younger bitches. Like I'm serious. This is so tired. This is New York City. And do you know anybody who goes to cabaret shows? I'm not going to, what is it, 54 Below or something?
I
Or
do. Well, I mean, I love going to Joe's Pub. Is that
yeah, no,
cabaret?
yeah,
Like
just go, yeah.
I go to Sandra.
No, yeah, it's like a comedy show.
Sandra Bernhard performing like around.
Okay, well
at
that's
Joe's.
iconic.
Oh, okay.
Well, that's
All right.
iconic. That's yeah. I'm not like this is just like hey, I'm gonna dance around with my Giovanni, and it's like and the whole show and the shtick around the Giovanni of it all and the cabaret. It's like this is not fun anymore. Like I like when Potomac is like not in on like what is gonna be it. Like the Slither
Yes.
thing, who knew that the slithering or embezzled or all these things would be iconic because they don't choose. We choose. We're the audience.
Yes.
Don't when it got cheesy when like Dorinda's making the coffee mugs and you know Luann is making a song called Giovanni. I'm like, this is too not
Too inside.
meta in a bad way. Like this is not cute or cool. And you guys aren't like mastering the social media of it all. Like you need to just like lay back and let us we got this.
Lay back and let it happen, baby.
Yeah, like Jersey doesn't do, you know what I mean? They just say things and then like they're like, "Oh, I guess they really tapped onto that."
Anything else in New York?
Did I make sense? I don't
Yes.
know.
Oh,
Am I just okay?
absolutely. Yeah.
Okay. Bethany should have never. Well, Bethany should have left and Bethany should come back. Bethany is one of those really good housewives that I think that like bring her back for 3 seasons and then let her go and then have her come back because you know she misses it. And I feel like she will be back.
I think she
She's gonna
does
be
miss
back.
it, but I feel like
She's gonna be back.
I feel like her pride will keep her from coming back. I'm worried.
No.
Can we talk about Bethany's activity on Instagram, specifically in stories?
I do follow Bethany. She's difficult to follow on stories, though. She's one of those like people that I thought I story a lot. She stories everything, and she does that weird white woman thing where she'll walk into a business or like if someone's serving her or like she'll just start filming them and be like, "Hey, what's your name, buddy? Hey, da da da," and it's like that is so rude. I would
know.
never. I would never go up to a stranger and put my camera in their face and just start filming them and put them on. That's like very weird.
I agree.
And it's always the crazy white women that do it. Like Kelly Dodd does that a lot. It's just like, don't do
I'm
that.
dying because you're so dead on.
It's so fucking rude. It's so like you may want to broadcast everything, but people that they're at work.
People
They
don't want to be filmed. In
People don't
general,
want to be
as a
fucking filmed.
general thing,
And
people
it's
don't want to be
and
filmed.
it's fucking weird that you would just assume that everybody is in the same mindset that you are. I'm very respectful when I'm in other people's space. If they're at their work, I'm not gonna like, hey, tell me about these cookies. And it's like, fuck you.
Also, the
Work
majority.
sucks enough.
I say this with total, absolute love. 99% of her story content is absolutely nothing. It's boring as hell.
Yeah, it's nothing. She's just obsessed with broadcasting herself. Yeah,
Which is
she's like
funny.
needs
Which
you-
is funny because she said on an episode of her podcast like a week or two ago how how that's not her. She's like, I don't want to just broadcast. Like, there's
Oh, well,
not
she
a
needs
lot
to
of
find herself because she don't know who the fuck she is. I do. That's not.
literally listening to what she said. I literally had the thought, Bethany, I watched Cookie die on a live stream.
Yeah.
Literally.
That's why I muted her story because I can't ever actually.
We watched Cookie die. Do you know how fucking dark that is? And she's
I
saying,
don't know. I'm not laughing. It's like.
no,
it's so
we're
dark.
laughing because we're crying. It's sick.
Yeah, it's sick.
It's really fucking sick. She needs
Not
to go to
cool.
a sober house with Wendy Williams. Fucking crazy.
So gross. No.
I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Okay. Oh God, I don't even want to do OC. Do we have anything brilliant to say about OC? Unpopular opinion. Andy said this week, responding to Evan Ross Katz, that they're going to quote unquote reboot it. Feelings?
Cancel it. Cancel it. Let's focus on other cities. It's dead. OC came like in a time of reality television when there weren't a lot of shows like it. There weren't any shows like it, really. I mean, you had like Laguna Beach and the OC and stuff like that. But since then, we've moved past the need for a place like nobody. nobody's looking at OC and being like, God, I wish I could live behind the
I
gates
know.
and suburbia of Southern Cal. Like that's like shit. Like, sorry to any of your listeners that live in like OC, but I know OC. It's like not that fucking cute. It's like there's cute parts if you're like in Laguna or like Newport. It's just, but it's still fucking. It's not it. I feel like they should cancel that and like maybe focus. If you had to do another one in California, let's go to wine country. I would
Ooh.
love to see something in the vineyards. There's like, there's a lot of old money up there. It
What
could
about
be
like
really
San
interesting.
Francisco? Wouldn't that be cool?
San Francisco could be interesting. There's a large Asian American population there. It could be a real interesting, like
There's
little,
tech money. It would be a different type of money. Like in New
but it
York,
might be
that
kind of
in New York they're
boring. But
refusing. They just simply refuse to cast the wife of like a hedge funder or like a tech. At least in San
yeah,
Francisco, we could get all of that tech. That's
yeah.
interesting.
Ish, yeah, I like, but the thing I've realized is that I love the cities that you don't know that much about. So you get to fall in love with the city. Like
Mm,
after SLC, I'm like, I want to take a trip to SLC when they open things up again. Like it looks beautiful.
yeah,
And it looks really nice. And, I'm not taking a trip to Potomac, but I've fallen in love with Potomac as like a town. You know what I mean?
totally.
From watching it on the show. And so I think that like focusing on like smaller places that maybe,
Yeah,
we know a lot about San Francisco. There's been tons of shows, there are movies about it, but I
yeah.
would love to see something in Northern California, maybe like an area that we don't get to see. And I just feel like if you did something in wine country, just the scenery would be so beautiful. And I'm sure it's like, maybe it's an idea. But yeah,
We'll
cancel
workshop
OC.
it. Cancel
Yeah, they got so
OC.
many fucking issues on OC. It's like so many issues that you
Yeah,
can't even
we
like.
can't even talk. It's been talked about to death. We
Yeah,
cannot.
and if you can try to reboot it, but then there's gonna end up being people that are friends with the women. So it's like
Yeah.
no.
All right, Beverly Hills.
Um, Beverly Hills, I'm gonna say, and I'm gonna get a lot of flack for this, so they're gonna drag me. The same thing I said about Nene. They've had more bad seasons than they've had good. Seasons 1 through 3 were iconic, as we know.
Brilliant. Brilliant.
Then yeah, and then I think it was season 6 or 5 when Lisa Rinna came on.
I think 5.
That was pretty good. That was a good one when Eileen and Lisa first came on. Then we lost steam again. We started to lose steam. Then we got reinvigorated because Denise came on, but it wasn't like fully because there was no story. And then we were like, oh my God, Garcelle's finally here. But
But
still,
she's
they
not
start
but
out
she's not really there.
she's not really there. And now we're gonna get like a
She's not even on the trip they're on right now.
I know, I know. Well, actually she is. She is. I saw a photo.
Oh, she joined?
I think so. Maybe she came later. Yeah,
Oh.
she wasn't at the beach, but she showed up. We know
Okay.
like everything that they
I
do.
know it's truly awful.
I don't even know why. It's like it's insane. But yeah, and this is not to say that the women aren't good like housewives. Like, I mean, Garcelle, I still think is like really great addition. Sutton, I love, and I loved Sutton. I
I
loved her from
think
the
they're
moment she
the moment you saw her.
I was like, this woman is it. And nobody believed me. They were like, she's weird and she's rude. And I was like, that's the point, Yolanda. So good. No, but I think that they've had more bad seasons than they've had good. And
The problem with Beverly Hills, and I actually love Beverly Hills, but
mhm.
it's actually filled with
I'll watch it.
it's filled with all really good housewives. The
Yeah.
problem is that they don't allow themselves to be vulnerable. They don't allow
Yeah.
themselves to like really show the way New York in the past has shown, and most other
Yeah.
cities, Jersey.
Because they're not real friends.
Yeah, maybe
They're
they
like
don't even
friends in
feel
a
they
reality show
maybe they
sense.
don't even feel safe with each other. Like,
Yeah,
why
I
am I
don't
going to
think I don't
confide in,
I don't feel that they feel safe with each other.
they
I
don't
feel
have
like New
they don't have
York,
history.
they don't have history, and I feel like the women on New York feel desperate enough to where they need to tell each other's business. They're like, oh God, nobody else will listen to me. Dorinda, my husband's leaving me. You know what I mean? Like they would not do that they wouldn't go to brunch and cry about like a divorce on Beverly Hills. You know what I mean?
Do you
Don't,
think Lisa Vanderpump will ever return to Beverly Hills now that Vanderpump Rules is kind of
well, she has a show on E now, I believe. It just got
this,
announced today. Sorry.
this is late breaking news about Lisa Vanderpump. So
Uh-huh.
yeah, this is an E show. It's called Overserved with Lisa Vanderpump, where she's going to invite famous friends over to her Beverly Hills mansion for an at-home dinner party in her garden.
Hmm.
It says celebrity guests include I'm pulling out the ones who are relevant. Okay, it's relevant to us. Okay, James Kennedy, Lala Kent, Jeff Lewis, Lance Bass, Trixie Mattel, Tori Spelling, Heather Dubrow. I mean, if this is successful, would this be successful? It's a half-hour show.
I wouldn't watch it. I don't care about her when it's not in context of Housewives.
I can't believe she got a show on another network. That's kind of amazing.
Well, it's their same parent company, right? Isn't NBC?
Yes.
So it's easy to, It's just like you shift her over, right? I guess. I mean, I don't know how those things work, but
I guess between this E! show and Vanderpump Dogs, Vanderpump Rules is not coming back.
hopefully
If she's got
not. I
two
don't
other
like it.
shows. All right. Final unpopular opinion. Dallas.
It's good. And they deserve another season. That's my unpopular opinion. It's good. They deserve another season. Dr. Tiffany Moon is a top tier housewife. You could put her on any city and she would float. Not just float, she would excel. She is smart. She's quick-witted. She's just a good person.
The unpopular opinion. It's good.
It's good. So many people sleep on it and hate it, and with all the racist stuff that we got, I think we need to get Brandy out of the mix because I don't think she brings anything, and I think that the way that they've handled that isn't great. But I think Tiffany being there is offering a different story, and she tells a lot about her coming to America when she was just, I think, 3 years old from China and learning English as a second language, and she's incredibly accomplished, and I just think she elevates the shit out of that show. Before, it was just white women who shop and don't do anything all day, and then you have her who's an anesthesiologist, 2 kids, a husband, more money than probably all of the other women. She's iconic. She's a legend.
Iconic. She's been on TV 3 weeks.
She's amazing. No, I the thing about her is have you watched any of the show?
Yes.
I just feel the way that she does her testimonials and the way that she handles the other women in filming scenes,
I like her. I think
she's elevated that show.
I like her, but I don't think I care anymore about the rest of the cast.
I get it. I think that, but what I'm saying is that I think after this season, we could start casting around her and get some other women. We need some Latinas on there. We need a Black woman. We really, Dallas isn't just rich white women.
Yeah.
It's quite mixed. So I'd be interested if she became the center star, and which I think is what they're kind of doing. I think they're really pushing her as they should. I love her. I've never felt this way about a new wife. Leah, but Tiffany's different, where right away I was fell all in because I was you're smart. You're not gonna embarrass me later on.
Right.
I know that there's not gonna be anything weird. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you're not gonna embarrass me later.
You know what I mean? I just feel she's
oh my God. Pet Shop Boy on Instagram and the B List. Everywhere you listen to podcasts, and you guys do a Patreon as well. What do you offer on the Patreon?
We do bonus episodes if you subscribe to, I think it's the $5 tier. With that tier, you get a bonus episode weekly. So we do the regular episode, which is on all streaming platforms. And then you get the bonus episode, which is also really great. For instance, I had Jennifer Aiden on last year, and we did the regular episode. And then on the bonus is when she told all the dirt about all the stuff she knew about Danielle Staub behind the scenes. And just
oh, wow.
Yeah, so it was really great. I'm going to have some more Housewives on soon. I'm also having a Summer House cast member on this coming week, so that's going to be really fun. So
awesome.
There's always the tidbits are in the bonus episode.
Excellent.
Also, on the Patreon, we have a different podcast called The Recap, and I think it's the $15 tier. Don't quote me. It says on the thing. But it's me and my producer, Tracy Morrissey, and we cover a recap of 2 Housewives shows at a time. So right now we're focusing on Real Housewives of Dallas, which is really good right now. And we are doing SLC, but that's wrapping up. And then Jersey's coming.
Yeah,
so
you'll do Jersey. Awesome.
And I saw the premiere of Jersey, and it is fire.
Really?
It is maybe one of the best premieres I have ever seen of a Housewives show. It hits the ground running.
Wow.
And I remember they were talking about it on Watch What Happens Live before. Dolores was saying, what do you think about the trailer or the first episode? And she was explosive. And I would have to agree. I've never seen anything like this since the christening. So I know.
All right.
You're getting excited.
Well, then let's leave that there. You've left
we see you're going to come on mine after when it airs. We can talk about it. I think you're gonna love it. It's so much stuff going on.
I love it. Guys, you can follow me, JessXNYC, follow the show account, Hot Takes Deep Dives, and Pet Shop Boy will be back soon. when New York and Beverly Hills are on.
Yep.
You can tell us
When
how
the
you
city
hate
comes back
it.
to life, I'll be here.
Yeah. Thank you.
Bye, guys.